Today, we have an eminent speaker, Mr. Pugal, who is a senior consultant with Tally Solutions Private Limited. Today's session is about, we all ask as a business owners, we do so much of turnover and where is the money? I don't get to see it. Today, Pugal is going to address this question and also have some answers for you. And without taking much of your time, I would like to hand it over to Mr. Pugal for the session. Pugal sir, over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Vasuki. Good evening, one and all. So, if you people are joining from Bangalore, we have a wonderful climate out. So we can enjoy the climate, and I hope this 1 hour that we would be, be together with us. I'm sure that, there will be some value addition to some expectation because, all of us are, going through a major crisis. And in fact, this crisis, you can say that it's a crisis of the century, which is, really jolted us and is giving a rude awakening call for all of us. And if you see, today, a few businesses are able to manage and survive during this pandemic. And if you observe very closely, you would have noticed that people who are able to, apart from the essential and various other thing I'm talking about, the normal businesses. If you see, businesses who are trying to do some kind of activity and keeping themselves busy. If you see, are those businesses who have adopted the technology and they have digitized their businesses to some extent. Basically they are the people who are reaping the benefit. I have a small presentation. Let me just share that presentation. Yes. Right. And basically, if you see MSME being the backbone of our economy, and I could say that, managing finance is becoming always been a problem with MSMEs. So some crisis or the other, and apart from any other pandemic or epidemic or any other crisis, more or less it is almost like, every month, we have this firefighting going. So what we thought is that, in fact, we did an inaugural session last week where, we gave a brief about, sorry, just an introduction of, how you can manage your finances. And very important question is that, where is my money? Where is your money lying? So this session, we will get into a detailing session where we will get into the next level of detailing and then try and see what are those processes, what are those features, what are those, operational activities that you can bring into your organization so that, you have a better visibility of managing your finances and where your money is lying and when the money needs to come and where this money needs to be pumped in so that, you have a balanced operation going on in your organization. So in fact, if you see, SMEs, have been, and thanks to again Mr. Vasuki, in association with Great Indian SME, we are doing this session. So COVID crisis, if you see, we have seen this impact. I don't want to get into this and all those things. And unfortunately, if you see, this is, in my viewpoint, I'm just, bringing some, relevance to why I'm mentioning that, saying that it is a third major crisis. And all of us, we can never forget two very important, kind of an epidemic, you can say, in our country that happened. One is the 8th of November. All of you know that, 8th of November is the demonetization, and MSMEs were very, very badly hit, and there was a lot of turmoil in our business, and we have gone through those pains. And slowly, we have overcome that, and then slowly we were able to. So that helped us in some kind of a digitization. So that helped us in some kind of adoption of technology, which I believe that, all of us are never going to repent because, we are seeing those benefits in this last almost 3.5 years that we are seeing this. So we were just settling down, and then we were moving to, smooth business. And the second kind of an I'm not saying giving this from a negative point of view. I'm just trying to bring in a relevance to it. The second kind of an epidemic that hit our country is the introduction of GST. GST is a great law. It is really wonderful thing that has happened in our country since independence. But the implementation is where we really had goofed up, and all of us know that we have gone through major a transition which was more from a painful experience. So even now, a couple of us, we are still struggling. The government is struggling. The lawmakers are struggling. Right. So these are the two things. And then again, from July, if you see in 19, almost, we started embracing GST. We understood the nuances of the compliance and other things. And slowly, we were settling down and moving. And unfortunately, the biggest pandemic of the century has hit us. Right. So it is very important, and it's very important that we have to now constantly keep evolving ourselves, constantly keep innovating. And we have seen this pandemic has brought in major impact on the economy of the entire world, not just the country. And our societies have been transforming during this pandemic. And we have been testing various ways every day while adopting ourselves to the new working routine. So social distancing is going to be the norm. It looks like it's going to be for quite some time. So how do we now start getting into our business back into the regular stream? And also the important thing is, with all this crisis, how do we now manage our finances? That's what is going to be. And basically, my session is divided into two parts. Basically, I'm going to give you some insights on how you can manage your finance, how can you track your finances is one aspect of it. And the most important aspect of it is that how do you use today's technology for you to be on top of these these activities, so that you have a better control over your finances using the technology. So this is the two part that I would be basically covering. So first is that we will see what are those financial management that is required. These are not great financial principles I'm going to give. It's a very, very simple day-to-day operation which we know we have been doing. Probably it would have gone at the back of our mind, which is what I want to just tap it and bring it to you, so that you can see these various possibilities. It's very simple to implement. It is going to be, it's not even going to be cost effective. It is going to be much no investment involved in bringing these changes in your organization. So we have seen this. And the most important thing is that with the 6.34, at least registered MSMEs that we have in our country, and there are much more who are not in the network of this registered or visible network. And with this 6.34 crore MSMEs, we have 11,000 crores of employment being generated, created, and the employment activities are going on with these people. And the most important thing again is the MSME is contributing to over 30% of the GDP of our country, right? So what is that we need to basically do? And we all must have heard this term, or probably at some time you would have also used this term. The term is like this. It's going to be very, very familiar to all of you. The term is that I don't know where the money is going, right? So we would have come this is like a deja vu situation, right? So we always feel, I don't know, I'm earning, there is money coming in, but I don't know where the money is going, right? So, and especially with this pandemic, if you see, there are the government, the central government also has given us a lot of they come out with a lot of schemes to help businesses to manage their businesses. Various schemes are there, and there are a lot of loan facilities have been available. So generally, if you see, in case of a crisis where you need a working capital, right? So there are there are only one way where you go for a loan. I mean, like, where you go to your banker, or, take some of those, take advantage of some of those schemes which the government has, announced, and which people are, trying to, take advantage of, these schemes, and try to see that how they can revive or how they can manage their thing. So that is one aspect of it, where you go for a financial increment in your working capital or your cash flow. To manage your cash flow, you go in for an additional loan or additional finances. That is one aspect of it. The other aspect of it is something which is there with you, is invisible. I mean, like, that's the main area that I'm going to touch today, of, just, highlighting on what are those invisible expenses, or what are those invisible, cash management that you could very easily adopt in your organization with little care and with little discipline that you bring in your operations. Now, just to give you this, two areas, are the two activities. One, in case of managing your finance, especially in case of a crisis, one is that, yes, I mean, like, you go for loan through the financial institution. Number two is, basically, we will see that how you can manage this finance, so that over a period of time you're going to get a better control over your finances. Now, just to give you an analogy, I mean, just to give a reflection of, how we can, take an analogy of these two aspects of managing your finance. Strategy of managing your finance. I have a very small, I just want all of you to basically, participate, and we will see what is your reaction, kind of thing. If I can bring an analogy to the managing of the finances, basically, I mean, I can give an example of a very interesting sport. For example, let us assume that I ask all of you present here that, would you like to, are you interested, or which is more exciting for you, or which you would prefer? Do you want to do hunting, or do you want to do fishing? So basically, I mean, like, there are two sports. I mean, like, I'm just asking you, do you want to do hunting, or do you want to do fishing? So all of you, I would request you that, you can just type in the chat, if you feel hunting is the sport that you like, or you want to, play that sport, or fishing. Can I just see quickly responses from all of you? Okay, right. Please, all of you just participate. Yeah, okay. Three fishing, one hunting. So some more. Can I see some more responses from you people? 1 minute. Okay. Okay. Uh, Surprisingly, here, almost 90%, I could say 80% is fishing, and 20% is hunting. Very surprising. Generally, if you see, uh, you would always want to, play a sport of hunting. If I ask you, I mean, like, definitely you will say, because hunting is something which is very thrilling, and I mean, like, that's what you really enjoy. Now, if we see, let's take this analogy now, and I'll just relate it to the management of finance. If you see hunting, what do we do in hunting, right? So in the game of hunting, or in the sport of hunting, if you see, we chase the target, right? The targets, as you keep chasing, the target keeps running away. Right, you go to the banker. I mean, like, you go with all the documents. Every time you go, some problem or the other are there. And I have heard many hardships from many people after this, schemes were announced, where they are still struggling to get their finances and various other things. So if you see the hunting, you run behind the target, and then, you hunt the target, right? Now, in fishing, what we do, very simple. In fishing, I mean, like, you just put one chair, sit on the chair, take a fishing rod, put the bait in the hook and then put the hook in the water and then just wait. Now, in case of fishing, what happens? The target basically comes to you. Right. So you don't have to run behind the target. The target is coming to you. And this is what basically I would relate this analogy to the hidden or the sunken cost. There are a lot of things in your organization which are, contribute to the hidden or the sunken cost, and which is going to impact your bottom line. Right. So just to give you a thought process, right? So instead of, rather than running, yes, in a major crisis, yes, you need to go for raising your working capital and all those things, short term and all those things. But at the same time, please do fishing also, right? Because you're not going to put too much of effort into that. You're not going to run behind the target. So what happens in fishing, it's a slow process, but then what happens, it's a slow and steady, and it is going to be an enduring thing over a period of time. It is going to, you will see a lot of results by adopting this fishing concept which I just explained. So we will see how this thing happens. And very important thing that we all know, that in managing finance, and this is a very old saying, we all of us know, money saved is money earned. Right. So how are we going to save? Right. So if you see, there are various methodologies which we can do it. I'm going to bring some simple aspects of it. The first thing for you to take control over business is adopting. I've just coined this 3 C's. They could be 5 C's, 7 C, 9 C's, whatever. I mean, I thought these are the three major thing which can be major aspect of your business. The one is that cash flow management. How are you going to manage your cash flow? Right, managing your receivables, managing your payables. In the upcoming slides, we will discuss about what are the ways and methods that you can adopt managing your receivables and payable, and more importantly, the receivable aspect of it. We will see that. Then comes your managing your periodic payment and receipts. I mean, like, what are the money that you have to get apart from your receivable and payable? What are those other monthly recurring commitments that you have? Do you have visibility of those things? Do you have, are you on top of it? Yes, I mean, like, you need to pay, but is there a system which is going to give you a regular information about these things which can help you? Right. So these are some of the things that we can bring them. Then the most important thing is the cash flow. Right. So how are you managing your cash flow on an ongoing basis, on a daily basis, or on a fortnightly basis, weekly basis? How do you have a clear visibility of how your cash flow looks like in the upcoming days, upcoming weeks, upcoming months? Right. And these are some of the techniques that you can build into your system, where you have a better control over your cash flow management. These are three broad aspects of it that you can bring into it. Then comes your cutting costs. Cutting, I mean, like, what are the areas? Now, this is where is my fishing analogy is going to really help you. What are the ways that you can cut down your cost? The most important thing is very important, which again, like I mentioned, these are sunken and the hidden cost. The one very, very right example for us to retrospect is basically the if you see, what happens is that most of us have credit term, or we have a credit period. Now, in this credit period, basically, if you see, what happens, you would have had your own processes, or you have your own strategy, that you would have had some kind of data information that you have, and then you come to a conclusion saying that, okay, I'm going to have 30-day as my credit period for my customer for this product. Sometimes you might have different product, can have a different, it all depends on your margin and various other parameters that you apply to arrive at a credit period for your products or your items of your business. Now, any money that is going to be delayed over and above the credit period, so okay, the every single day the money is not collected for all your overdue bill, you are going to have a hit on your return on investment. So generally what happens, I mean, like if you see the credit, the moment you might have credit facility with your supplier, supposing you have a 45-day credit period with your supplier, you give 30-day credit period to your customer. So you have that, buffer of 15 days to, manage and collect it. But then what happens? I mean, like, let's assume that you also have a 30-day credit period with your vendors, and you also give 30-day credit period to your customer. So any day that, I mean, like any number of days the money is lying outstanding beyond the credit period, it is going to have an impact. And, all the credit sale that you do in your company, it is as good as giving interest-free loan to your customer. So it is very important. So what is that other important thing that you need to see? What is the loss of interest that you are incurring due to this overdue bill which you are not able to collect? So those are some of the things that, techniques that we can see how we can, build those cost cutting uh, aspects in your business. And yes, and the very important thing is, what is the biggest problem facing the current multiple cash flow? Okay, I think there is a poll here. Can you people see the poll? What is the biggest hurdle you face currently? So there is this multiple. So would you people could quickly take this question and then answer, please? Could you please quickly? Wow, excellent. Okay. Uh, right. Vasuki, can you just, is it possible to share the screen to the audience? So cash flow is, again, cash flow has been the major aspect. I mean, that's where, you have this issue. So that's where we are trying to see how we can manage our cash flow and other things, right? The third important aspect that we want to see here is that choosing the right technology. Now, this is where, when I come to the technology section, I'm going to talk about what kind of technology, what are those, important technologies that is required and important for your organization. But again, choosing the right technology is very, very important, very critical, and very crucial. Right. So we will see what kind of technology, what are the, I mean, like the business solution or any technology that you have today, how you can leverage them to manage your finances. Right. So that is what, we will be seeing. Now, coming to the first part, basically where we're talking about the cash flow, which is where we have majority of you have said that concern is the cash flow area. So coming to the cash flow area, so basically if you see that most important thing is managing the receivable aspects of it. Most important thing is managing the receivable aspect of it. So how do you manage your receivables? One is that by one, yes, you have a credit period, you have set up everything, but then do you have a system? For example, let us say, if you take the technology, one a very important technology that is required is managing your finances in your organization, which is your business solution software, basically, which can take care of your finance requirement, inventory requirement, and the compliance requirement aspect of it. So if you have, let's take one example. Let's say you have some kind of business. I mean, most of you definitely have, and very popular is Tally software and so many other software. There are ERPs. Just visualize that you have a business solution software, and I'm sure that every software will have these kind of features which can allow you to leverage them and have a better control over your operations. So one of the thing in the managing your receivables, if you see, is one, we can see your default credit period. Can you set up a default credit period for each of your customer, so that on a daily basis, as soon as you come. And one very important thing, if you notice, especially as an owner of the organization, right, two things are very, very important for you. As soon as you come to your office in the morning, first thing is that you need to know how much of money that you have to receive today. What are the amounts that are pending which you are supposed to receive? And next is that what is the amount that you are supposed to pay? The second very important aspect of it, how much of stock that is lying there, right, lying in your premises. Like the more number of days you have your stock lying with here, it is going to block your working capital. These are the very two important aspects that you need to see. So one of the important aspect is that managing your receivable. So once you set a default credit period with your system that you are having, business solution software that you have, on a daily basis, you can actually see what are the amounts that you are supposed to receive today, what are the amounts that are overdue as on today, and what are the amounts that you are supposed to receive in the upcoming days. This is where it helps you to build a better cash flow, right? And then you can specify credit limit also. I mean, I'm sure that many software will allow you to specify a credit limit. The moment you specify a credit limit, if the outstanding is I'll just give a simple example. Let's say you have a credit limit of, I'll take a very simple value. Sorry. Let's say you have a credit limit of 1 lakh rupees for your customer. Now the customer has taken the goods, you have given him 30 days credit, and let's say 90,000 rupees value of invoice you have already raised to him, right? So now the customer comes for a second purchase. So he says, can you supply some more item? Right. So fine. So I mean, the customer is, trustworthy. You have good relationship with the customer. So now you want to bill. But then since you have already set the credit limit as 1 lakh, the 90,000 rupees is still outstanding. Probably it could be within the credit period, right? So now, but the advantage of setting up the credit limit is basically the moment you specify a credit limit, the system is going to now, verify, and it will keep track of the outstanding. And also the moment now, let's say the second invoice that you want to do, you need to do an invoicing of 50,000 rupees. Now, the moment you make an invoice, the system is going to stop you, right? It says, because your limit 90 is already outstanding, you are trying to pass another sales entry of 50,000 rupees, which is going to be 140, but whereas the limit you have set is only 1 lakh. So this way, it gives you a better tracking and control over your outstandings and all those things. You can always specify, modify the credit limit and various other things. But then these are some of the good processes that you can bring, kind of a self disciplinary methods or steps that you can bring for your business, right? The other one also, I mean, there are softwares where, basically, if I take the example of Tally, though I've given this example, right? So now what happens, let us say this 90,000 rupees, which is outstanding, which is less, which is before it is within the credit period. Now the 30-day credit limit is already gone, right? And he is now asking for another invoice where he wants an amount of only 10,000 rupees. So the 10,000 rupees is basically within the credit limit. So which means the system is going to allow you. But then the second invoice that now you're going to raise to your customer is after 30 days of your first invoice, which means the first invoice is overdue. 90,000 rupees is overdue. So now when you raise your invoice, if you can set up this, the system is going to now look for any outstanding which is been pending over and above the credit period. The moment you are trying to do the invoice, it is going to a message. A warning message is going to pop up on the screen saying that, hey, look, I mean, this one bill is pending, which is overdue. See, now it gives you a better control. Probably now, before making the invoice, probably you can call up the customer and then get a commitment from him, and then you can, for subsequently raise the invoice. So many things can be done by you. I mean, I really don't have to tell what is that you need to do, but a system should allow you to take decision. These are some of the things that you can bring in. And the other aspect of it is basically, we will talk about how do you track your return on investment, which is what is the amount of interest that you are losing on all those overdue interest-free capital that you have given to your customer as a working capital. So what is that interest that you are losing? You can set it up in the system where it is going to give you, this are going to help you, like, what if kind of a situation. So this is, broadly about your, bill-wise detail, which is your customer and vendor management that you can do in your bill-wise detail. The other aspect is that, leveraging this bill-wise detail, for example, in Tally, we have a bill-wise detail where you can enable for non-trading accounts also. So what is this non-trading account? How does it help? Like for example, if you want to handle loan installment, you have taken loan, you have to pay monthly EMI. Now, whatever amount that you have taken with using this bill-wise detail, you can split up your repayment period or your repayment cycle based on monthly this thing, and you can, break up this repayment within the system. So that way it helps you every month when you are looking at your receivable and payable. It is going to tell you can bring this liability also or your receivable also apart from your normal sales receivable. So these are the things that you can handle. The other aspect is that, in case you have in your organization, you have the facility of giving multiple advances to your employee. You can manage this also using the leveraging the bill wise detail in Tally, where you don't have to have multiple ledgers created for one person for different kind of a loan. You can also track the repayment cycle also can be done using this other aspect of it, the bill wise detail aspect of it. Now the hidden cost, tracking the hidden cost, if you see, you have some, I'm just taking one example of Tally. In Tally, if you see, you have a module or a feature called interest calculation. So generally what happens in every software, you will have various features. So you need to build a suite of them and see how you can leverage these things and then combine them to get your impact or the result that you're looking for. So in this case, what we are doing, you have enabled bill-wise detail, you are managing your receivable payable, you are enabling bill-wise detail for all your monthly commitment, recurring payment. That also can be tracked. The system is going to track for you. And that also is going to tell you whether it is overdue or not overdue. So that way it is going to track everything and you will do this. So similarly, you have this interest calculation where you can enable interest calculation for all your customers. In the back end, system is going to now calculate interest for all those amount which is outstanding over and above your credit period. So there is a small configuration that it can be done, and I'm sure that many software today in the market have this facilities. So enable them. So that gives you a visualization of what is the amount of interest that you are losing on a day-to-day basis, right? So that is one thing. So this is how it helps you to see your loss of interest on your return on investment aspect of it. Now by doing all those things, what happens with the proper receivable payable management module enabled in your software, and with your the other bill wise detail components enabled in the software, you can by click of a button, you can generate your cash flow projection. The next very important thing that will hit your mind, yes, receivable payable is the actual thing that is happening. So system is able to identify based on my credit number of days and all those things, I'm going to get that information in my cash flow. But what is going to happen? So even in case of your uh, non trading bill wise detail, your loans and other things, if you are enabling the bill wise detail and if you are splitting up your payment into multiple EMI installments, that also will automatically come, right? So but then what happens, there are other recurring expenses which are there, which which is not incurred, you are not incurred yet, and you cannot make those entries because those are future expenses or your other income. So how do you manage that? Because if I don't bring that into my cash flow projection, I'm not going to get a true and fair picture of my cash flow projections. I mean, like, it is not going to be complete. So how do you bring this? Okay, so you have, I mean, like, again, I mean, Tally has a provision, many software will have a provision where you can now make a provisional entry. For example, rent for, now you are in the month of September, so another 6 months, right? So rent for the next 6 months, you make a provision entry, and you can make those provision entry to appear in your cash flow projection, so that next 6 months, this is your committed cash outflow that is going to happen from your organization. Similarly, every recurring expenses that is there in your organization, you can capture them as a provisional transaction. And once you have captured that as a provisional transaction, by click of a button, you have your cash flow projections at your fingertip. And I'm sure with this information, you have lot of uh, aspects that is in front of you, which will allow you to take an informed decision, right? So these are some of the things. Now the next part, very important aspect, is optimizing your inventory. What are the things that you need to do in optimizing your inventory? That's, again, like I mentioned earlier, the more number of days the inventory is there. And if you see, for many of the organization in your current asset, right, so 50 to 70% of the value of the current asset in every organization, especially in case of a trader or a manufacturer, inventory is going to carry the major cost, right? So how the longer your work inventory is there in your factory or your shop, then that much of your working capital is blocked, right? So how do you now manage your inventory? So what are the different ways that you can do using your business solution software? The first thing is that, do you have visibility, or are you on control, more than control? Do you first is that, do you have visibility on what are the items that are fast moving, slow moving, or non moving item? So this gives you a better idea of how you can now start managing your inventory. Very simple step where you can see. So I mean, like, this, I'm sure that business solution softwares, you will get reports where you can get age wise analysis of when did you purchase, as on today, how many days the stock has been lying. So you get those information, you get those report where you can, I mean, like, you can see the age wise analysis of the stock. One. Number two is that, it will also give you this age wise analysis is going to now give you this visibility of what are those items which are fast moving, which are slow moving, or non moving. And this gives you enough data for you to take whatever decision that you want. The next aspect of it is that, yes, I'm dealing in 30, 40, 50 products, right? I mean, really, which of my product is giving me a better profit margin? Do I have a visibility on them, or should I have to spend a lot of time to get it? Or these kind of information I should be getting them on a daily basis by click of a button, right? So which item is more giving me more GP, right? And what are the products that I know I should prioritize? And what, I mean, fast moving, slow moving, you just see these all, both of them have, have combined thing will have a greater impact. The other aspect is that, yes, one is that which item is giving me the better profitability is one aspect of it. The second one is that I make an invoice, let us say some 5 6 item, I make an invoice to a customer. Do I have a visibility of, did I make a profit, or how much of profit did I make in this particular invoice, where this invoice contains multiple product? A product could be a lesser GP value, more GP value, different GP values. But what is the percentage of profit that I made in this invoice? Do you have the visibility? The system will allow you to get this information where you can see for every invoice, what is your cost and what is the GP margin that you have, in what you have earned based on the selling price that you have done. Like the other very important, so all this will help you. We will see in the last that what is this going to, what objective it is going to achieve, what is that you are going to get, what is the action that what is the result of this action is going to give you. One is that, again, know your committed supply, and especially with this pandemic I mean, like, phase that we are there. I mean, like, any delay in supplying the commitment to our customer, we are going to hit, I mean, there is going to be somebody, I mean, like, we probably we have a very great risk of losing our customer. So it is very important that how do you use your business solution software, because every software is going to have this facility. Use this. It might not be a process in your organization, but it is already there in the system. Why don't you make use of this so that you have a better control over your operations, right? So make a note of all the committed commitments, make a note of all your committed supplies to your customers, so that on a daily basis, that what are the orders that you are supposed to fulfill today, upcoming days, and various other things. Similarly, if you don't have a practice, or if there is no process in your organization for issuing a PO, doesn't matter. I mean, just capture whatever is the order that is required, whatever is the order that you have placed, capture that in a document, so that now you will know what is the order that you have placed, when is the order that is going to come. You will know what is the lead time. In case of a manufacturing, what is the lead time it is going to take for manufacturing. Based on that, that what is your committed date. So these information will give you whether you are able to meet up the commitment. So instead of cutting a sorry figure on the D day, so you always have this information on hand with you, where basically you can call up your customer just in case if there is a delay. Probably you can pre-warn, I mean, like, pre-inform the customer. That will be a better thing for you. So these are some of the things that you can bring in. And also you will have, you have your system code to do. I mean, you can specify what is the reorder level you have and what is the minimum order level that you need to order. And by doing, by tracking your commitment to your customer, and by tracking the orders that you have placed to your supplier, these information, and also by adding up your reorder level, by click of a button, the system is going to tell you what amount of stock for each of your inventory or SKU that you need to add. What is the net stock that needs to be ordered is what you are going to get this report. By doing the whole thing, what is that you're going to get? You're going to get just in time stock, JIT stock you're going to get. And this is what basically we call it as a lean inventory management. How can you manage your inventory and have them lean? See, the more number of inventory turnover that you have is the better management of the inventory that you have in your organization, right? So now coming to the technology aspect of it, right? So I've broadly given you what are the main areas. One is the cash flow aspect of it, which is going to be your receivable and payable management, and the second one is basically your inventory management system. So what is that you require? You require a technology, and how technology can accelerate your business, so that basically you have to be future ready, right? And if you see today, there was a recent survey about this. The survey, I think, was done less than a year back. I'm not sure about the date or something. So, but then, very interesting survey that is done. So the survey is about, I mean, like, what is the level of adoption of technology by the MSMEs? And you know what the survey revealed? The survey revealed that, 70%, the survey revealed that 70% of the 70% of the MSMEs are still offline. And very interesting thing, I mean, like, in the survey, the reason that is given is, one is that the very important, the topmost, or the largest response to the question was that we are not aware of these technologies, we are not aware of these tools, we are not aware of these apps. That was a major thing. The second aspect of it, that I mean, like, there is, yes, I'm getting a technology, but I don't know where do I get the skilled labor or the manpower for that. So these were the two broad findings which said. So now definitely, this last almost March, April, May, June, July, August, almost 6 months now, almost 6 months, we have seen how technology is playing an important role, and we are also now connected today with the technology, right? And we have seen a lot of things, and how you can manage technology. So basically, it's very, very important that you now start adopting technology. And one very, very, very important thing, what I would suggest here is that you need to now start creating a new kind of a budget, right? And that budget should be 70, 20, and 10. So what is this 70, 20, 10? Unlike your Pareto's principle of 80, 20, this is 70, 20, and 10. So basically, if you see, the 70% of the revenue you should be managing for running your operations, right? Running your business and running your operations. The 20% you have to definitely invest in the technology or upgrade the technology that you have. It's very, very important going forward. We have seen this, we have experienced this, we have struggled. So going forward, technology is going to play a very critical role. And for you to be ready for Industry 4.0, you have to make your business 2.0, and technology and digitization is going to make your business 2.0, which you are ready for Industry 4.0. So the 20% of it should go to your investment in technology or upgradation of your technology. And the 10% of the investment, definitely you'll have to put it in your workflows, including you, where you build the competency level of your workflows, so workforce, so that basically you bring a better productivity, and you have a competent person who can really start leveraging the technology to the complete optimum level, right? So by doing this, very important thing is that you are going to make your business organization future ready. what controls, what systems, what processes, changes that is required to manage your receivable, your cash flow managements, and managing your lean inventory and all those things is basically the future is technology. It is not just to survive. Today, probably technology will help me to survive, but you also need to thrive. Technology allows you to not just survive, but thrive. Right. Now, if you take the technology for any business, right. So you have two, kinds of, like technology can be broadly divided into two different types of technology. One is, your business technology. This is like your two arms of your business or two eyes of your business, where one of your arm or eye is your business technology, which is what is basically going to take care of you managing your finances, your inventory, your compliance, maybe your HR, maybe your CRM, which you will have in larger ERP system. You have all those things which basically gets into one single ERP system, manufacturing, MRP, and various other things. So that is one very important, very critical, which is non-avoidable kind of a technology that is required for your business. The second one is basically the associated supportive technology, which can bring further simplification, further efficiency and effectiveness of your business. So how do you marry them into your main business technologies, which can help you to better have better control over your operations. So these are the two broad levels of technologies that is there. And if you see the business solution, there are a lot of things that you can do today, because today every software, every business solution has got variety of features which is built into the system, which can bring greater efficiency and effectiveness for your organization. Right. So I just want to quickly touch on I just want to quickly touch on couple of areas which you could tap, or you can leverage using the current technology that you have for your business solution. So if you take from an accounting point of view, one definitely is the outstanding management, which I spoke at large during my finance section of it. So you will have this thing which will come. Then cost center, profit centers. If you have multiple products, if you have multiple division, if you want to track the efficiency of your people, so software will allow you to track, create a cost centers, and track each of the cost center. It could be branch, it could be division, it could be people, it could be product. A lot of things can be done. All this additional information gives you a better information to take an informed decision. That is the key of technology. Invoicing, one very important thing, as we have already seen in the GST era, that some of you would have been struggling with collating the information for GST. You have one software for accounting purpose, you give it to your chartered accountant, and there is a lot of time and energy you have experienced. Some of you would have experienced a lot of time, energy being spent on getting the same data in the multiple form and the multiple thing, and then duplicating your work. A lot of things are there. And especially invoicing, you do invoicing in Excel, then you need to do for your GST purpose, then your accounting purpose. Instead of duplicating all those things, if you have a technology, try to have an integrated business solution in your organization. Going forward, it is going to save a lot of time, money, and energy. Right. So invoicing, so you can handle invoicing aspect of it. Yes, it is very important. Now we have learned a very hard lesson during this thing. It is unexpected has happened. So how do you make ourselves prepared for the next? Let's hope and pray that nothing like this comes, at least in our lifetime or in our next generation's lifetime. But then if something like this comes, how are you going to be prepared yourself? So you need these kind of budgeting and various other things to have a disciplined system in your organization. So leverage the technology for these kind of aspects. The banking aspect of it, like auto bank reconciliation, and if you take Tally is tied up with at least about 10-12 banks, where the moment you make a payment entry, it automatically goes to the bank. And if the person is having, your vendor is having account in the same bank, it automatically gets credited to his account, it automatically gets debited. See, it saves a lot of multiple steps of completing a transaction. So that is one aspect of it. Then you can do auto bank reconciliation, and especially if you are a distributor or a dealer where you have multiple check to be deposited to the bank on a daily basis. Using the banking feature, you can make an entry. In any case, you have to make a receipt entry. The moment you make a receipt entry, you can create a check deposit challan for all those things with all those details. So all this is basically error free, time saving, I mean, like activities that you can do, and trustworthy, and it is going to be error free mostly. So these are some of the things that you can make use of, especially in case of your uh, uh, accounting aspect of it. Now coming to the inventory aspect of it, again, storage and classification. Right. So if you're dealing in a product which are food item or pharma item, then definitely you need, and even in some other item you need batch wise. If you are dealing in items which are batch wise, you require to track them batch wise. You can enable the batch wise. And see, the whole idea is that you don't have to have multiple technology tools to manage your single business activity. So everything should be in one single system. That's what basically I'm just trying to build. What is the right kind of technology that is required for you, right? So batch wise, you can also track, you can set a expiry date, and you can track what items are going to expire in the next 1 week, 10 days, 15 days. You can decide the periodicity and all those things. Then you have, which we have already discussed in the inventory part, where you can, even though it is not a practice in your organization, make use of this feature. Start capturing your commitments or the sales order, which we generally call, the terminology that we use. Start capturing your purchase order for all the orders that you have done with the client. So you can always track your order movement and other various other aspects of it. Then the purchase management, in some cases, the additional cost of purchase, especially in case of import, it is very important that you have to add the additional cost of excise duty and various other clearing charges and other thing, so that you know what is actually the landed cost of the product, so that you can determine the margin, right? So the purchase management is one area where you can now start tracking and capturing the additional cost of purchases. So you can do that. Then again, the sales management is, in case, let us assume that you are manufacturer, even in case of a trader, let us say you have three entities in the supply chain. Let us assume that you deal with distributor or wholesaler, retailer. Let's take the example wholesaler, retailer, and also you have a factory outlet where you sell it directly to the customer. But then how do you, same product, now there's going to be three different price you need to set up, because you can't have a uniform price. So how do you manage this? So you can use price list. Okay, you can have multiple price lists for multiple entities, and manage your pricing, because again, some mistake, it is going to be costly, it is going to hit your bottom line. So how do you manage price lists and various other things using the business, the inventory aspect of it? Now coming to the compliance aspect of it, is that how do you handle GST? I'm sure that some of you would have really, or still maybe struggling with getting that, between 10th and 20th of the next month. Now at least we had a lot of extensions. Between, in the normal case, between 10th and 20th, if you see, your accountant or your time and your chartered accountant or your tax consultant time is spent mostly in reconciling this. So instead of that, you have everything in the system, so that everything is integrated. Your accounts, inventory, and compliance is also integrated. Then TDS, if some of you are covered under TDS, right? So rather than having any other third party software, if you see if that TDS capability is available in this business solution that you are doing, can you just explore and see how you can integrate that, so that you don't have another system. TCS is very few people tax collected at source. For about 10-15 item, it is available. It is actually for 10 to leave, another thing, right? And also VAT is also still aware. I mean, if you take VAT, you have to manage VAT, especially in case of the best example is bar and restaurant, right? In case of a bar and restaurant, the restaurant bill should have GST, and your bar bill should have VAT. So how do you manage? So the software that you are using, if you have this facility, you can enable GST and VAT, and you can manage GST and VAT compliance, both you can manage in one single software, right? So this is one thing about the business solution, which 100 at least about 80 to 90%, it is going to take care of your finances. How do you manage your finances? Like I said, the other complementing technology or complementing digital technology are so many other technologies which are there. I'm sure many of you know about this thing, and I'm sure some of you might be already using this, taking advantage of these technologies. And all these technologies, if you see, they are free. Most of them are free, or at least the basic version are free to start with, to start experimenting. It will be a good thing to start with these, with zero cost investment for evaluating. It is like basically you have this gestation period where you can evaluate, and some software allows you 30-day evaluation. Then you can decide whether you want, whether you will get an idea that whether it is going to be useful for your organization, or you would want to look into it, right? So like I said, in the upcoming sessions, basically we will get into the next level of detailing for each one of this that we have been doing. So one is that, if you see, how do you leverage any other technology? Communication and collaboration. Now we are using this communication tool, collaboration tool, which is called Zoom, which is Zoom, that we are using now, which Mr. Vasuki is using. There are so many, at least 15, 20 of them are there. Most of them are free, right? So I mean, like, for communication purpose, you can probably, and I'm sure that many of you are using this. So we will also explore and see what are the other kind of communication collaboration tools are there, what are cost effective, what are budget things. So these are some of the things that we would want to bring to you, so that you are not going to spend too much of time on that, so that your decision point or making decision becomes easier and faster. Similarly, we will also talk about various sales and marketing tools. What are all the different kind of sales? CRM tools. What are the CRM tools? What are your, email marketing tools that are available? And also social media marketing, managing multiple social media platforms. What are the tools that are there which could help you in getting those, I think, is what we will bring the, like highlight, and then give you these kind of things. What are the things that are available with you? Then the office productivity. In fact, when I was for various other sessions, when I used to go to Google to collect my curate my information to see what are the things, I happen to find that, you just type office productivity, you will be surprised there are close to about 100 office productivity tool which are available, and all, literally every one of them are free. So you can probably try and see what kind of office productivity tool that would be helpful to you, useful in your business organization. Start using them. And almost every office productivity tool is device independent, and today many technologies are device independent, which means, you can access them on your mobile, your tab, your laptop, your computers. It's all these things are available, right? And also we would be see, for all those things, the most important thing is that how do you build competency, how do you know, I mean, like, many of them are today DIY, do it yourself technology. So where are you going to go and know about this information? How do you going to start with this, with rather than spending too much of time and trying to do it? So I mean, like, we will also give you various sites where it can build you, help you to I mean, like, build the competency of your people. And here again, we will be concentrating more on the free, and it's not that every site we are going to show you. Very important portals or the platform or e-learning platforms which are very, for just to give you a simple example, Google has got a e-learning platform which is for industry specific. There are about 134 programs are available in Google, that e-learning platform, and many of them are almost 70% to 80% of them are free. And on completion of that course, you also get a certificate from Google, right? So like this way, it I mean, like, basically, once we get this visibility of this information, and you can help yourself and your people in your organization to be better competent. All right. And these are some of the platforms which we will talk about. Well, what are the kind of things that are available in YouTube, and how you can get access to these tools and these learning platforms and other things. Google is one other thing. Then we will also see what are the other learning platforms that are very important, very critical, and which are very cost effective and almost free of cost. For all this, most important thing is it requires your determination and dedication. Like I said, the budgeting part of it, it is very important in your 12 hours of your uh, 12 to 14 or 15 hours of your active life. It is very important that you have to now dedicate at least 2 hours, or to start with dedicate 1 hour, and just take away everything from you and get into the system and see what is that thing that you want to learn today, what are the things that you can learn today. It could be related to your business domain, it could be related to a new technology, but it is very important that now you have to budget this time. And it's a good time for you to now see, because we are in a desperate situation, it's a helpless situation for us. It is very important, the more we get knowledge, or more we know about the technology, the more we know how we can leverage the technology. I'm sure it is going to help you to be better equipped for your business activities, right? Now, to summarize, uh, we will see new changes of the century. We have been seeing the changes that is happening. So it is very important that you embrace technology, educate yourself is going to be very, very important, and execute whatever you have learned, implement, execute, and expand yourself, expand your business. That is very, very important. And three very important mantras, right? So awake, arise, and act. Very, very critical, right? So that brings to the end of my session, and I hope 1 hour, uh, 3 minutes that we have spent uh, definitely would have. I feel that it'll be a time invested rather than time spent, right? So I mean, like any suggestions, anything for our upcoming session, it's always welcome. And thank you again once and for thank you again to every one of you, and I wish you all the very best and a successful technology driven business for your upcoming months and years. Thank you very much, and I